Do you love your current job? No, wrong question. Let me rephrase that to make it easier for you to answer. When you wake up on a Monday morning, do you feel excited to go to work? Would you still keep your current job if money were not a concern? In 2022, around 50 million people answered no to these questions and quit their job.
People around the world are quitting their jobs.
Well over 20 million people quit their jobs.
Stunning number of Americans quit their jobs in the month of August.
We are going through a period called the Great Resignation where people are leaving their jobs hoping to find something better. However, most of those who quit ended up in a similar job where they felt as miserable as before. But then there is hope. There is an alternative. I first read about this from the book The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. I've been working a 9-to-5 job as an engineer for the past few years. I'm not unhappy as such with my job. But let's just say that I hate certain things about it. I hate having to turn up for work at a certain time every day, no matter what. I hate that there is a limit on how much I can earn, and I hate that I don't have enough freedom to make my own decisions. And this is where the alternative path can make a difference. All it takes is some planning and a bit of courage. If you gave this process a sincere shot for the next 5 years, then the odds to success are nearly 100%. So let's get started. The entire strategy consists of 2 phases, the preparation phase and the execution phase. And before I go into detail about each, we have to understand a very important thing. A 9-to-5 job may be tiring and monotonous, but it is a necessary evil for most of us. It pays our bills, puts food on the table, and most importantly, gives us an identity. So the purpose of this video is not to blindly suggest that you quit your 9-to-5 job. No, not at all. Just because you work on a 9-to-5 job doesn't mean you should do something different. Normal people live normal, comfortable lives, and there is nothing wrong with that. But if you are tired of getting just one raise a year, if you are tired of spending most of your time in a cubicle, if you are tired of not being credited for the work you do, then being normal won't save you. It all starts with recognizing that there is a problem and then deciding to do something about it. Like Johann Wolfgang von Goethe said, none are more helplessly enslaved than those who falsely believe that they are free. So consider this only as a trigger for you to reflect on your life. Start with the basic questions. Are you happy at where you are with your life and your career? Do you want to change something about how you work or the way you live? For me, I want more freedom and control in my life. I want to skip doing things that don't excite me. I want to spend more time with friends and family, read more books, travel worldwide, and help others lead a happier, better life. The goals may be different for you, but whatever they are, get clear. Very clear on your vision for your dream life. Take a pen and notepad and write this down in detail. What would you be doing? Who would you be spending time with? How would you make money? What would you do for fun? This may seem silly, but it's important that you do this before you do anything else. Clearly defining such a vision for our dream life is a step in the right direction, but there is another factor that can equally pull us back. I was born in India, and if you are from one of the Southeast Asian countries, then you definitely know the struggle. We always leave drowned in a sea full of expectations. When it comes to studies, career, or relationships, we are expected to do things in a particular way, and there is a constant fear that if we can't fulfill those expectations, then we will let everyone around us down. This fear ties us, and what do? We compromise. We choose engineering over literature. We choose to settle instead of exploring. The same society has conditioned us to believe that working 9 to 5, 5 days a week, and trading our time for a fixed salary is the right and the only option, that an alternative just isn't feasible. But then people like Tim Ferriss have proved that it's possible to make money on your own without having to sit in a cubicle for 40 hours a week. We have been taught only one way to make money doesn't mean that it's the only way out there. It takes a lot of courage to break the stigmas and go on our own path. And that brings us to the execution phase. This phase is all about one thing. The one important thing that decides whether you will be successful or not. Money. How much you need, how much you can make, and how much you can save. So first things first, start writing down your expenses. We need to know precisely what our month-to-month expenses are and how much money we will need to leave the rat race. I kind of do this daily using a template I designed in the note-taking tool Notion. If you want a simple solution, then you can find the link in the description below. When we don't have the luxury of a steady income, then paying bills and feeding ourselves becomes harder. So once we have a clear idea about our expenses, then we have to go through our spending habits and see where we can cut back. And here, focus on areas that can really make a difference, like negotiating a lower interest rate for your house loan. And most importantly, get a hold on your shopping habits. It's no secret that our society places an increasingly heavy focus on material possessions, and this has become so ingrained in our culture. Always keep in mind that with new purchases, the excitement starts to fade the moment we open the box. So instead, invest your money in experiences like traveling. They can give you a lifetime of memories. And with the money you save, create an emergency fund. And this is non-negotiable. And the money you put in this fund should be good enough to cover at least 6 months of your expenses. Life without a 9-to-5 job would be unpredictable. So we must always be prepared for the unexpected. Now, another important part of saving money is to protect it from inflation, which is simply the rise in prices of goods and services over time. And the best way to counter inflation is to invest your money. Stocks, bonds, real estate, mutual funds. There are plenty of options out there to invest your money and build wealth. And if you invest your money the right way, then you may be able to live off your investments for the rest of your life. This is the 4% rule, a frequently used rule of thumb for retirement spending. For example, let's say your portfolio at retirement totals $1 million. You could withdraw $40,000 in your first year of retirement. And if the cost of living rises 2% that year, you could accommodate for this and withdraw $40,800 and so on. And you can do that for the next 30 years without running out of money. So a major part of my plan was to invest my money and build a portfolio that can secure me enough dividend income. But soon I realized that this is not possible with just the income from a 9-to-5 job. And that's why I moved to the next step in the execution phase. Just a few years ago, I would come home from work, cook dinner, watch Netflix for 3 to 4 hours and go to bed. Then do it all again the next day. But at one point, I realized that if I just kept doing this would be my life for the next 30-40 years. If I want to build something out of my 9-to-5, then I need to work outside my 9-to-5. That means less binge watching Netflix and aimlessly scrolling social media and giving more time for side hustles. And that means setting up my priorities right. But then I couldn't figure out what to do or what side hustle to start. So I went to the drawing board. I wanted to find something that I am good at and passionate about. So I drew a chart with passion or interest on one axis and skill on another. Quadrant 1 is 0 passion and 0 skill. We don't have to dig more here. The opposite is high skill and passion, which is kind of the ideal case. This could be something which we are already good at and also love doing. For example, if you have a degree in finance and interested in starting an investment agency, then that belongs here. Unfortunately, for me, I couldn't find anything that goes here. So we moved to the third quadrant with no passion and high skill. I have been working as a cybersecurity engineer for the past few years. So I believe I have enough skills to start something on my own. So I created a website to educate people on cybersecurity and share the latest news and trends happening in this field. But after a few months, I realized it was not for me. It just felt like an extension of my 9-to-5. So I left it. That brings us to the last quadrant. High in passion, low in skill set. If you can't find anything in the ideal case, I highly suggest staying in this region. I knew nothing when I started my YouTube channel. I had a passion for creating and editing videos during college and I was captivated by the FIRE movement. So I read books on the topic, watched countless hours of YouTube videos and attended multiple courses. And now I can write stories, edit videos, design websites, do marketing, and have a good understanding of personal finance. Even if I lost my regular job right now, I believe I have skills that I can make use of to live a decent life. Keep this in mind. Skills can always be built over time. Internet is your teacher, but whether it will be a good or a bad one depends on whether you use it for aimless scrolling or learning. Once you develop those skills, then use them to create value. Conduct a coaching session, create a mobile app, and then, this is important, give away everything for free. Yes, for free. Keep doing this until it becomes irresistible for people to pay you when you ask for it. That's how you build trust. That's how you make money. But it's not enough that we make some money. We have to make enough to leave the rat race. And for that, we must master another important concept, the concept of scale. So instead of just making money as a direct proportion to your effort, like in a 9-to-5 job, we must find a way for our efforts to compound. I will explain. For example, if we write a book, then there is only a one-time effort involved, and we can sell that book over and over again without any additional effort. The book will make money even when we are sleeping. Technology has dropped startup costs, opened new markets, and created new distribution channels. It's easier and cheaper than ever to make something and tell people about it. Remember that there is no need to quit your job and start something from scratch. That's foolish and is the hard way. Instead, leverage your job and start building your business on the side. Once you become good at it and it starts making some money, then you can reduce your working hours and focus more on the side hustle. Just blindly changing your job in search of work-life balance is not the solution. Work-life balance is a myth. I've talked about this in my last video. If you haven't seen it, do check it out. It's interesting. I can guarantee that the beginning will be tough. There will be a mountain of things that we don't know and thousands of days of work ahead of us. We just don't see how we can pull it off and may feel like giving up. But then we persist by focusing in on the present moment as much as possible, by doing one task at a time, by taking one step at a time. I can only show you the way. You are the one who has to take that first step. Whether you will is a question only you can answer. Adios.